Hello students, in first lecture I have discussed about a syllabus of object-oriented software engineering and a brief introduction of object-oriented analysis and design. Now in today's lecture we are switching to the first chapter, that is object-oriented principles and concepts. This presentation includes an introduction to object orientation, then principles of object orientation and why object orientation is required in design of a software system. Now introduction. Here object orientation term. Object orientation is a technique to model a software system. To model a software system means you have to represent that software system in a diagrammatic form or in some graphical notations. Two graphical notations all of you already use, that is entity relationship diagram and data flow diagram. Now in this course we are going to study different types of diagrams like class diagram, object diagram, use case diagram, interaction diagram, component diagram and many more. A model is an abstract view of the system. In briefly, we can represent a software system. That is nothing but we are creating a model for a software system. System modeling has generally come to mean representing the system using some kind of graphical notations. There are several objects around us. For example, suppose a man, house, car, fruit and many more living things and non-living things are present, and suppose we want to map that inside a model basically. So how it works we will see in a example here. Now consider one of the real life situation. This is one of the person, we can say Ketan is one object, house is another object, car is object, fruit is object here only. So this is a general scenario is given here only and we want to map this to a conceptual model. So this will be, in reality we have an object Ketan. Now Ketan is having house, car and fruit. So how it could be represented in a model format? So Ketan lives in house. Ketan is one object, house is another object and lives in a relationship between Ketan and a house object. Same way a relationship between Ketan and car is drives. That is Ketan drives car here. Same way Ketan and fruit are two objects here and they are having a relationship eats. Ketan eats fruit. So reality situation is somehow different and there is a huge semantic gap between a reality and a model. So this is a model representation. Same way we can design a model for any software system. This is one of the smaller problem domain is discussed here. Now need for object orientation approach. First requirement is capture the structure and behavior of information systems into small modules that combines both data and process. So first of all we have to identify the necessary objects which moves around the problem domain, and for that objects we need to define a classes, and for that classes we need to define the data members and the process, that is the functionality or behavior of the class basically. So capture the structure and behavior of information systems into small modules that combines both data and process. Improves the quality and productivity of a system analysis and design by making it more usable. Here we can reuse some of the components designed for any software system basically. So reusability is one of the important feature of object orientation. We can say inheritance is one of the mechanism. Then in analysis phase, object oriented models are used to fill the gap between the problem and a solution. In previous example, we have seen a problem domain as a Ketan and different entities moving around that person, and we are representing that in a conceptual model. So in analysis phase, object oriented models are used to fill the gap between problem and its solution. It performs well in situations where systems are undergoing continuous design, adaptation and maintenance. That is one of the important feature of object orientation. Though we are not gathering all the requirements at a time, so what the requirements are given by the customer, that could be analyzed and that could be designed. So any newer suggestion comes from customer, that could be easily adapted, and for that the design is going to be revised basically. So it is well suited for a newer or a rapid approach for development of a software system. It identifies the objects in problem domain, classify them in terms of class and behavior. So for problem domain, the basic thing is we have to identify the necessary attributes and necessary objects, and based on that objects we have to define what the data will be required and how that object will be having a behavior. That is the methods basically. In earlier presentation, I have given the example of a library system. In library system, the general objects could be librarian, books, student, teacher. So these are the general objects are present in a problem domain, that is a library management system. And based on that, we need to define the necessary data for every object and necessary methods or behavior for every object. So these are the basic need for an object orientation approach. Now here are the object oriented programming concepts are object, classes and instances, inheritance and polymorphism. We will discuss this in the next slide. Now what are the advantages of using object oriented technology? The first major advantage of object oriented technology is reusability. Reusability means we can reuse the same code for many times through a inheritance mechanism. Through implementation of inheritance, we can reuse the code. Then easier to adapt means though the changes are frequently given in a problem domain, that changes are easily adapted and that could be designed and implemented easily in object oriented technologies. Modularity for easier troubleshooting. Object oriented technology supports modular approach. Modular approach means first of all objects are identified, their classes are identified, then subsystems are formed, then that subsystems are integrated, and same way we are reaching to higher level and we are forming an entire system. So it follows a modular approach. Because of a modularity, error handling and troubleshooting is more easier with the object orientation technologies. Flexibility through polymorphism. Polymorphism is one of the striking feature of the object oriented technology. Here we have to define a general method in a superclass or in a parent class, and as per the flexibility we can use that function in a respective child classes basically. So it is a more flexible approach will be achieved through polymorphism. Then effective problem solving techniques are present with object oriented technology. Most of the problem domain could be resolved by applying these technologies. So these are the major advantages of object oriented technologies: reusability, easier to adopt, modularity, flexibility through polymorphism, and effective problem solving techniques. Then next are benefits of object oriented model. The first one is it facilitates changes in the system at low cost. Though the system is developed and end user is suggesting some changes in the system, that could be easily adapted and that changes will be done at very lower cost in the system. It promotes the reuse of a component. Some modules could be reused in another software system also. It simplifies the problem of integrating components to configure large system basically. Integrity is one of the important features of object orientation. It simplifies the design of distributed systems also. Distributed means a data is distributed over different geographical places. Any wireless connection we can consider like that, any system is present. For that, design is also simpler with a object oriented model. Means we can design any type of a problem domain with a object orientation model. So object oriented approach, it is nothing but a combination of a data and functions that are gathered together and that are not visible outside the class. Only respective objects could have access for respective data and their functions. So there is a separation of objects interact with each other only via their membership functions. Means an object could invoke its respective member functions only. Separation helps to maintain the integrity of the entire program. It provides a security on the data also. So mainly object orientation approach supports a combination or a wrapping up of a data and the functions. So that is one of the major, integrated is one of the major feature of a object oriented approach. Here are the principles of object orientation. First principle is data abstraction, then modularity, encapsulation and hierarchical design. Now first, data abstraction. Data abstraction is nothing but information hiding. It refers to providing only essential information to the outside world and hiding their background details. Means only necessary information will be presented to the end user and remaining information is hidden from the end user. A best example we can say use of ATM machine. We all are using ATM machines. We just put the card, we are inserting the pin and we are doing the transaction with the ATM machine. But internally what the functionality is or what is the design of that ATM machine, no one knows actually. Only designer team is having that idea basically. So this could be say as a data abstraction feature, which is one of the strong feature in a object oriented analysis. Then second feature is a modularity feature. Modularity function feature means a main program could be divided into smaller modules. Means main problem is divided into sub problems. Again that sub problems could be divided into sub problems. So this could be done at a smaller integrated level also. So every module could have different set of functions. So there could be n number of modules are present. At higher level that modules are get integrated, subsystems are formed, then that subsystems are again integrated and the main software system is going to be developed or the main program is going to be developed here only. So modularity is nothing but a bigger problem is get divided into smaller sub problems at a modular level basically. Here is an example for modularity. Suppose a system is having n number of objects like object 1 to object n. This is related to class 1. Then again object 1 to object n. This is related to class 2. So it could have number of classes with your system. Then that classes could be get integrated here only and it forms a package. So here is a package 1, package 2 like this n number of package. Package is nothing but collection of classes. Classes is nothing but set of objects here only. So at a bottom level we can say there are set of n number of objects, then that are integrated inside a class. Number of classes are integrated form a package here. Then again integration of n number of package could be say as a component. Here n number of components could be designed, component 1, component 2 like this up to component n. Then based on that we can assemble or we can gather that and we can form a subsystem or a folders. So n folders or n subsystems could be present here only like subsystem 1, subsystem 2 up to n, and then by integrating all the subsystems we are forming the major system here only. So this is a typical view of an object orientation approach for a modularity. It supports a modularity, means at modular level we are designing that system here only. Then next feature is hierarchy. Hierarchy means we can say this could be from general level to special level we can design the classes here only. The best example here we can say as an inheritance. We can apply a inheritance. So a very general class is say as an animal class. Animal classes get divided into three subclasses like herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous. Then herbivorous, it is get specialized as a rabbit class. So for rabbit class we can define necessary data members and member functions or methods here only. Same way it could be divided for these two classes also. So this structure could be say as a hierarchical structure. The top level class could be say as a super class, and this could be say as a child classes present here only. So this is a best example of a inheritance. Then next important feature is encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but wrapping up of data and methods or a functions here only, and that could be formed as a class. Class is nothing but a collection of data members and member functions, and it is nothing but a wrapping up of a data members and member function. So outside world could not have access for the private members of the class basically. So encapsulation is basically supports a data hidden property. Now here is a difference between a abstraction and a encapsulation. Abstraction is nothing but the act of withdrawing something from the design, and encapsulation is nothing but a wrapping up of a data and functions together. Use of abstraction could be done by you, or this could be implemented at interface level. As we are designing interfaces, we are designing abstract classes and we are achieving this particular concept. Encapsulation could be implemented through access specifiers. Means we are providing a security on the data through different access specifiers like private, public and protected. Here the action solves the problem in design basically, and encapsulation solves the problem in implementation level. Here a problem are resolved on design at design level, and here problems are resolved at implementation level. Now definition is given here. Abstraction means hiding implementation details using abstract class and by defining set of interfaces. And encapsulation is nothing but hiding data using getter and setter methods. This is the example of a Java basically. So hiding the data members and methods outside the class basically. So this is a basic difference between the data abstraction and encapsulation. Now why object orientation becomes much popular? First one is it provides higher level of abstraction. Just now we have discussed what is abstraction. So that is one of the important feature. Then seamless transition among the different phases of software development. Any changes could be adapted at any level and that changes could be applied in the respective stages. Encouragement of good programming techniques with object orientation. Promotion of reusability through inheritance, and promote easy to adapt and maintain of a reusability. Means easily changes could be adapted and we can maintain this through reusability feature. So these are the important aspect. That's why object orientation becomes much popular in a design of a software system basically. So these are the important aspects in today's lecture. In today's lecture basically we discuss about what is object orientation and some of the terminologies related to object oriented programming languages. I hope you understand all the things. Okay, have a nice day.